It's Wednesday, April 23rd, and we are in busy season. Why don't we give you a tour of everything we're doing this week and give you an update of everything we're working on. All right, well, we'll start with the big project we've been working on. And if you're not already too bored with it or sick and tired of it, we're doing a huge system in this one, if you haven't been following along. So here is the big compartment full of goodies. So this last week we have gotten 6 Battleborn batteries mounted down below. Super hard to see because they're kind of below this inverter here. But did some bus bars out of aluminum. This is just taped up because they're kind of close together, but you can see the other bus bar here. Got your positive and negative. Good rule of thumb here, if you are doing a system on your own or you work for a shop. So we have the bus bars that go all the way across, all 6 of them. And what you want to do is you want to grab the negative from an end one and your positive from the other end one so that it's going through all the batteries, basically. You don't want to grab your positive and negative from the same battery because that's going to be the path of least resistance, and it's going to draw down and charge that battery the most instead of going through all the batteries to complete a circuit. So that's one thing to kind of keep in mind when you're wiring something. So this is going to be all cleaned up a little bit. We might move these around. These might be moved out so they're in front of the trim panel. But what we got going on here is this one here is the battery switch that goes right out of these batteries into this battery switch. We have 2 0 gauge. This is a dual pole switch. It's still just one on off. It's not like an A, B, all switch, but it's dual 300 amp poles. So we have 2 aught gauges going into this and then 2 aught gauges going out to the amplifier rack to power all that. And then this is an on-off switch for this power inverter. So at the end of the, most of the time during the season, these will stay on, but at the end of the season, you can click that off. So there's 0 draw. What we got here is a 2000 watt inverter plus a shore power charger. So this has 80 amps of charging when you're plugged into shore power. Plus it has a 4 amp trickle charger that'll trickle charge the starter batteries of the boat. Moving on over here, this is what they call a VE bus smart dongle. Basically it's a Bluetooth dongle that plugs into this inverter so that you can do all the settings and everything for the inverter and all the status of it. You can do that through Bluetooth. This piece right here is a DC to DC converter. So what this will do, one wire goes out to the factory batteries or the factory alternator on the boat, and then the other one goes out to charge the lithium battery bank. So it monitors and makes sure that it kind of turns the alternator, like the charging kind of on and off, so that you don't blow up the alternator, because lithium batteries can pull too much power and you can blow up alternators when it sits there and charge and make them too hot. Anyway, that's kind of the simple way of explaining it. This piece here, this is called a shunt. So we have 3 0 gauge wires coming into the shunt directly from the batteries, and then you have everything that goes out to the stereo, inverter, everything like that goes on the output side, and then this monitors how much power goes in and out. So that way you can either monitor that with an app on your phone, or you can look at this piece on the dash and it'll give you all that information. So that's pretty much what we got done in this boat this week. So this is all wired up except for, I think we still need to put in a couple circuit breakers between the batteries and this inverter that came in. Actually, I think that's coming in today. So this will be wired up, and then we got to wire up a couple wires back here to the factory batteries that are for the charging. and the trickle charge. So we got those wires ran back here. We just need to put in the circuit breakers and stuff and mount that to the factory batteries. Over here, we've got a pontoon boat. We got a lot of speakers that are going into that one, a couple free air subs, a couple amps. So that one's all tore down. I can show you what we got going. It's a little bit of a mess in here, but these are factory speaker locations for 6.5 inch. We added 7.7s in all the corners. A couple up front here. Factory. These aren't ideal speaker locations, but there's not really anything without a lot of modification that you can do up high. We're going to do a couple 8.8 inch back here. We're going to do subwoofers down here. We took out the Hertz factory head unit, installed the JL, and then we're going to do all the amplifiers probably up under here. This kind of has a little glove box in it, but this is kind of wasted space back in here, so we're going to do the amps in here. Got the Subaru in, we're waiting on a couple parts. We're actually going to add a front camera to this while it's in here, so it's easier for them to park and see that front lip. And then a couple other things, steering wheel control module, charge port, and kind of a routine. This Raptor here, we actually did this a while back, and we'll be doing a full overview on this one. But after we finished it, he took it and had some things like he had all these fender flares painted. I think this lower piece was painted. Same thing in the front fender flares. Added the rack back here. But they added bumpers to it, and we'd already done a radar system and laser jammer. So it came back to us to remount all the sensors. So we were able to get the two laser sensors put right here. There's a little bolt up under here, so we made a little mount that bolts to. And then the radar sensor, the best we could come up with, you know, it might not be 100% ideal, but it's right here behind the mesh. We thought that was going to work or look the best instead of having it hang down underneath here. Should still be able to get some good coverage through that mesh, even though it's a metal mesh, but it's super wide. So hoping for the best on that one. We'll give it some testing when we're done here. So that's pretty much all we got going for this week. A couple other things is a couple days ago was our I guess I'm not sure which one to consider our 20-year anniversary, but a couple days ago was the day, 20 years ago was the day that I got my incorporation papers for the business. So that's kind of neat. But like our first dollar that was earned, I still have that framed. It was on May 11th. So I'm kind of going to put together a really cool video of all the things throughout the 20 years that we've built. If you have been a customer for that long and you have like maybe some super old photos, like back in the day where it's pretty much, you know, Polaroids or printed pictures. I mean, 20 years ago, phones were kind of, so I'm missing some stuff from way, way back there. So if you got any of those pictures, take a picture of them with your phone and send them to me. I'd love to use them in a video. So, and I'd also like to know if you'd like to hear the story or timeline of, you know, the last 20 years of how things have progressed. You know, some of you might be new to the channel, might not know us, might not know me, but this business has evolved quite a bit from when I started. Just a quick tidbit, I started this business out of the back of my truck, where I would go to car dealerships and I would install things like remote starts, headrest TVs, drop down TVs from the headliner. I would do it all in their parking lots. So going from that 20 years ago to this has been a pretty fun journey. So maybe in my video that I do for the 20-year thing, I'll kind of try and talk through all that the best I can. I'm not the best at relaying, you know, stories, but I'll do the best I can, because it's been quite the transformation over 20 years, and I've went through a lot of ups, downs, you know, and learned a lot of different things. So maybe I can kind of pass on that information into somebody that's thinking of doing any kind of business and let you know if I would do it again, the things I would have done different, and the things that I've learned. So anyway, that's all I got for today. Appreciate you guys watching as always, and hopefully we'll get some full build videos done here in the next week or two on the Bronco, the Subaru, and the Raptor R. So, and then we're closing in on this into the Chaparral build, so we'll do a full video on that probably in the next few months, because we'd like to get it out on the water and maybe get some drone footage and things like that, some cool lighting videos and things like that. So that'll be coming along. Our deadline for that one is, I think he's picking up May 23rd. So we got a lot to get done. We got to build the bar. We've got to build another subwoofer enclosure in the front. We've got to trim out that amp rack. So the next month is going to be crazy busy. So anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next week. And hit the like and subscribe if you're liking what you're seeing. Thanks.